Hey everybody, I hope you guys are all doing okay and welcome to a special episode of Siralim Ultimate. That's right, this episode we are not going to be doing any realms, we're not going to be fighting anybody. We're going to spend the entire episode in here in the castle and we are going to be redecorating. We're going to be renovating, we're going to be turning this. Well, I mean, I've done a bit of decorating in some parts, but we are going to be really transforming this, well, large parts of it. Maybe not the whole thing, but especially these rooms. We're going to be turning them into something rather lively. Now, here's how this episode is going to work. I have made plans for most of what I want to do. I've drawn up the list of decorations that I need, and all kinds of decorations. Let me show you first of all just how many there are. If I open the decoration menu, especially in this category called miscellaneous. 35 rows. I searched through all of them. There are also lots of paintings, plants. I haven't really looked at the plants that much. I'll incorporate plants later on. Most of the decorating I've done hasn't really needed plants, but maybe we'll save the plants for a future thing. Yeah, there are lots of banners, columns, obviously, rugs, statues, plushies as well. There's so many of them. Again, we might do something with them later, but for now, we're just going to be mainly decorating these 4 rooms and turning them into just... Each of them is going to be special. Now, for the first one, we're going to actually make the room. I will do the whole thing for you on screen from scratch, from start to finish. We're gonna be... So you know how I've been going to the Riddle Dwarves and they're just here. They've got this sad looking table in front of them, a couple candles, three barrels. We are gonna be giving the Riddle Dwarves a proper home. Maybe home, not necessarily, but a proper venue in which they can ply their trade. And in this, yeah, we're going to be constructing the thing that's in the thumbnail for this video, you know, the before and after. And we're actually going to be moving them from here down to here, because I want to put something else in this room. But we're going to be constructing the bar slash casino that you saw. Now, we'll start out by laying down the floors. Now, there are a few ways you can change the floor. You can change the floor for the entire castle, but I want to keep this floor as the default. What you can also do is you can add individual floor tiles as a decoration to customize specific rooms in your castle, and that is what we're going to be doing. That is going to be the plan. So we're going to be using the tavern floor tile, and I want to fill this entire room with this. I want to make sure this entire space is filled, and just in case there are any issues, I don't want any overlaps with the tiles. Because each individual tile you place also counts as an extra decoration. I don't want there to be any issues. We will even have the floor extending all the way out, not and ending just before it hits the main area. I think it looks a little bit better that way. And the first thing we're gonna do, so I have my reference right here for how everything's gonna look. So first of all, let's throw down the scrolls that are gonna spell out what this area is. This is a casino and bar, and one of my favorite coincidences is that this phrase actually fits symmetrically on this wall. Because if you... I guess the two spaces don't really matter because there's two of them, but it's an even number of letters on an even background, I believe. I do believe. So just one at a time. We're just gonna throw these down. Oh no, they had to be even because I was filling them with 4x4, and so obviously any multiple of 4 is going to be even. And we're looking for an R. And you know what, let's throw down some lights in the corners. Much better than these sad little solitary candles you see up there. Right now, we're gonna put some tables. And you saw most of these tables in the thumbnail. So some of these are tables that are fully stocked by default. Specifically, the 3 tavern tables. There are 3 versions of them. Oh, where'd they go? The neat tavern table is gonna go, gotta make sure I line this up properly. That sounds good to me. The messy table is gonna go... What? Yeah, okay, that makes... Yeah, okay, that makes... kind of makes sense. And I need to move it down until it's in line with this, okay. And the disgusting table goes like so. But there are 3 other tables that I want to put, and these are the basic tables. Sort of like this table. So I'm gonna throw it down like this. I feel like I've not measured this out properly. So what have I gotten wrong? What I've gotten wrong is that this one is too far to the left. I think this is what we want. Now we want some chairs, and they are all gonna be basic chairs because they just look like they make the most sense for, you know, a bar, casino situation. Now, I want to arrange them in a very specific way. I've planned this all out because I want this to look not perfectly neat. You know how when you're at a restaurant, you know, sometimes people, like the staff can arrange the chairs in a very regular way, but sometimes people will move the chairs around depending on how their party is laid out. So I just wanted to have that kind of a feeling here as well. Put that there. Put some over here as well. And like this. I wanted 4 chairs per table. And like so. And now we need to put some stuff on these basic tables. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put cooked cockatrice. The same thing as we have on this table, but it's just sitting there with nobody actually eating it. I'm gonna put this here. Tea set. I'm gonna have to go backwards for this. Tea time is the object. I'm gonna put this here, and close to this, the salad platter is gonna go here. Okay, now I am going to go down here and basically make the bar area. So making this, I was actually pretty inspired. I've been watching a lot of videos of people making custom Lego builds. And it's a wonderful rabbit hole to go down, so wholesome, so heartwarming, and plus you get to marvel at the amazing things people build. But one thing that inspired me in particular from watching people make custom Lego builds is that they will take a part that was made for one specific purpose in some set, like for instance as a car part. That's what it was made for in the set that it came with, but they will take that part and change it into something else. Like instead of a car part, it's now a piece of a giant Lego face, which fits really well because of the shape that it has in conjunction with the other pieces. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be using pieces that are not necessarily like if you look at what they actually are, it's not, and what I'm using them is going to be based on what they look like and not what they are technically classified as in the game. So we need some astral gallery palettes. Why, you might wonder, do we need some astral gallery palettes? Well, it's because they are the closest that I've come to finding an object that resembles a bar counter. So let me measure out some space and throw down 4 of these. And I've chosen these, it's because if I didn't tell you what they were, if you looked at it in a setting like this, you would assume that what's on these counters isn't like a paint, what's that called? Like a paint palette, but rather it also looks like food, right? It looks like it's got some greens, some carrots, or maybe some meat. What I'm gonna do is to excuse me, I'm still on the tail end of this very annoying cough. What I'm gonna do is to make it look a bit more realistic, I guess. I'm gonna how should I swap these? How should I swap these so that it looks kind of you know what, let's just swap it like this, flip it horizontally, and actually no, I don't, hang on, I think I'm just gonna flip them all horizontally, and I think that's gonna look a little bit better. Okay, and now I want to add some more things. Yeah, go to add decoration. A lot of these are going to be from the miscellaneous section. So what I need is the wine rack, I think. The wine rack. That's going to go here, and then there's going to be a shelf of booze. So these are being used for what they are actually what they are actually uh, listed as in the game. Shelf of booze goes here, and I'm gonna add a couple other things. I'm going to go back to the beginning. I'm gonna add a collection of bottles. Where is it? Oh, I made a mistake. I've put everything too far down. I need more space. Thankfully, the game is pretty forgiving. I mean, you do have to kind of move everything individually. Oh! Oh! Yep. Oh, I guess by default it places it on where the architect is standing. Okay, now I want to add. You know what I can do is I can just remove 2 of these. Yeah, might as well start removing this stuff. Because I'm gonna need the space for something else eventually. And I'll take 1 barrel, this refuge barrel, from the refuge of the Magi. But I'll move this one here. There's a barrel there. And now what I'm gonna do is, keeping up with the theme of using objects. Actually, hang on. First of all, let me add a couple more basic chairs. Basic chairs. 1 here, 1 here. Now I'm gonna add a couple other things. I'm gonna remind myself what this object was called. It was a resource node. Let me just soothe my dry throat a little bit. A resource node from the torture chamber. You might be wondering, why would you possibly need something like that? Well, you'll see in a bit. Where is it? The reason I've picked this one is because it kinda looks like a grill. And we do have food as well. So I'm actually gonna put 2 grills over there. This is gonna be like the kitchen area. And that is sorted. Now we're gonna need to do my favorite part. Probably the most important part. We built out the bar, but now we need to build out the casino. And what we're gonna be doing is we are gonna be bringing the Riddle Dwarves into this section of the map. But instead of them just standing there, I want there to be objects next to them that are appropriate for the kind of game that they play. And after much deliberation, I've settled on a few. Starting with some very obvious ones. Okay, so one of them is a slot machine Riddle Dwarf. So we need to go to the Gambler's Hive and find their slot machines, right? So, and I'm going to use both of them. Slot machine large. And where have I put this? I've put it slightly above. There, okay. And even the small slot machine, both of them go there. And, you know, the slot dwarf is going to stand next to that. And now we need something for the Keno guy. And if you look at what Keno is, it's basically a grid, right? You're picking things on a grid. So I was looking for something that that looks kind of like a grid, and I settled on this. Trial of the Gods collectible card game. Now, I know if you are a stickler for details, and if you count out everything, it's not as big of a grid as the Kino grid that the game plays with, but it does kind of look like it. And you can also imagine that the squares are bigger, right? That, you know, each square represents multiple individual segments inside, and then split into it. And when you add it all together, it gives you the big Kino board that we play. So I'm gonna place this down here. Now we need something for Siralim. For that, I'm gonna see if it's in here or if it's in the table section. I think it's called. Let me look this up. It's called card table, and I think it might be in the table section. Yes. So even though these are cards, if I didn't tell you that, you know, the details aren't detailed enough, that if I told you that this is a Monopoly board, you would believe me. It kind of looks like that. Again, the custom Lego mentality of using things for what they look like, for what you want them to look like, rather than what the people who made them tell you what they are. And I'm sure the people who made this game would be fully behind this kind of creative endeavor. So I'm going to place down the card table there. And finally, we need something for the scratch card dwarf. This one was the hardest one because technically he doesn't really need a physical thing. He could just be keeping the cards in his pocket. But I'm like, we need to find some sort of a thing, right? Some sort of a thing. Ooh, and I've forgotten to put down what its name is, but I think I know what. Yeah, I'm going to use the messy art table. That's going to be what the scratch card guy is using. Because again, you can see some sort of stuff on this paper. It kind of looks like a big card, and maybe there's residue on it. You know, like when you scratch off the card, it flakes off a little bit. So maybe like the purple stuff on the left is from a card being partially scratched off. This one was the hardest, but out of everything in this game, this is what I settled on as what I wanted. And I'm going to place it there. Now we've built the establishment, but we're not quite done because we still need to populate it. We're going to add... we are going to add a whole bunch of customizable NPCs. What I'm going to first do is I'm just going to add people in all the places that they need to be, and then I will change them to what they should look like. So here, 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 and here. Here. Oh, and here. And I'm gonna put one person here and one person yeah, like that. Now I'm gonna make sure that everybody. Oh, I missed. I missed two. There need to be two more. Here and here. Now I'm gonna make sure that everybody's facing the correct direction. How do I? Oh, make it. Oh yeah, okay. With these guys, you can make them face specific directions. I want you to face that direction. I want you to face north, and with all of the guys around the tables, I want them to face the table itself. So you face west, You face west. You face south. You face east. You face north. You face east, and you as well are gonna face east. Okay, now I'm gonna. Are you face? How? Which? You are kind of optional, but I guess I'll have you face east as well. Now we're gonna be customizing these NPCs to what I've selected them to be. Obviously, if you're doing it yourself, there are so many options for NPCs. You'll see them as I go through the list. So I want this one to be woman 22. And I want this one to be man 18. Just a man and a woman at a table. Maybe they're out on a date, maybe not. Who knows? Next, I want to change you to assassin. Just an assassin by himself, enjoying a cup of tea. And you... Some of these are going to be serious, some of these are going to be a little bit silly. But these are all, like, all of these are, like, meant to be used, right? So you are going to be a werewolf. Just a werewolf, you know, about to tuck into a lovely turkey dinner, or I guess a cockatrice dinner. I imagine werewolves need a lot of protein. You are gonna be... Showgirl... Let's go with green. Because I wanted like there to be someone who's taking on the role of a server. The only ones I could find are female. So I mean, it's a fantasy game. Sometimes fantasies have old-fashioned themes with old-fashioned gender roles. So you know, it's not surprising. But I guess green is okay. She's just bringing the drinks over to this messy table, perhaps. And while we're at it, we'll change you as well. You are gonna be another showgirl. Oh, I've gone too far. Ooh, there are 4. I didn't even see the blue one. So you can be the blue one. Taking some drinks from you know, this bar area. We've got quite a few left to do. Let's go with you first. First of all, let's change you. You are gonna be Afro Man. Just sitting by yourself, you know, having a salad. You are gonna be an alien. Like I said, some of these are gonna be a bit silly. You are gonna be an android. Just an alien and an android by themselves. Just chilling. And now this table is gonna be fun. You are gonna be this one, Achnalian Regalia. Actually, hang on a second. I was mentioning earlier about how like there aren't any male versions of the serving staff. So this guy has a drink in his hand. So rather than using him as some guy at a table, let's go ahead and move you here. You can maybe be part of the serving staff, bringing the drink. Actually, let me move you a little bit. Yeah. Making it clear that, behind the counter, you're part of the staff. Bringing, like an empty cup back, right? Because these ones, you can tell that they're drinks. This one, you can't really tell if it's empty or not. Right. So I am going to have to put someone else at the top of this table, though. So let me... There's always going to be a bit of improvisation. So who do I want you to be? I'm not going to think about it too much. I'm just going to pick the first one that looks cool. Adventurer. How about that? You are going to be... channeler. You are going to be... Grompsh. I wanted this guy in front of, the giant axe. And you are gonna be... You are gonna be Hat Wizard. Where are you? There you are. Just because I think Hat Wizard looks really cool. You know what? I think Hat Wizard is gonna look better if you see him... If you see his face. So I'm going to make you face south. I'm going to make you face north, and we're going to swap your places. And you can be here, and then... I hope I'm moving the correct one. No, I am not. Okay, you stay there. Yeah, okay, there we go. There we go. Lovely. Hat Wizard with his lovely beard as well. And we are almost done. We're almost done. The only thing left is to bring over our riddle dwarves. So what I'm going to do is... I'm going to move them according to the plan that I had. So the slot machine one, you are the slot machine one, right? Yeah. Slot machine one goes there. Kino one goes here. How do I want it? I guess you're fine, right? Just like that. And I guess it's fine if they're all facing down. Scratch card one can go here. Actually, hang on. How about you use... Actually, hang on. Let me do it slightly differently. Let me move you like this. Make you face west. Make you face north. Actually, hang on. hang on. Yeah, you know what? That's actually fine. Actually, hang on. Let me make you face east and have you stand in front of these slots and have, you know what, let's get rid of this, rid of that, rid of that, move you to a different location and place you down like this. Actually, hang on. Make you face west. Does this make sense? You know what? Hang on. No. This is one thing I didn't decide was how am I gonna. Maybe this is. Maybe this is better for the slot machine guy. Maybe you can face south. And then I thought it'd be cool if each of the dwarves was facing a different way. So we've got north, nobody's facing east. So maybe if I did this and had you stand like this. And then you stood like that. Does that work? I like this. I like this. Or should I just stay with them looking up or down, maybe? Face. You know what? Don't need to be so obsessive with having them looking in every single direction. You know what? Maybe this is fine. Yeah. You know what? There we go. There we go. I think this works. Actually, hang on. Does this... Am I happy with this? Am I fully happy with this? One other thing I want to check is... I'm actually going to change this guy, but let me see. Do they have... because they have some Greek gods. I was gonna say, do they have Dionysus? But or Dionysus? I don't know how you pronounce it. But it was like some thing with the guy carrying like a cup of booze in his hand. Maybe I'll check off screen and make modifications between episodes. We don't need to go into such fine detail. That way we can have another cup-holding male figure walking around. Or masculine-looking figure, I should say. Yeah. Let's leave it. Let's leave it. Hang on. You know what? Maybe it'd be better if you stood. There we go. Now it looks much better. Because I was like, where is the person playing gonna stand? The person playing surely is gonna stand by the table. The person playing is gonna stand in front of the slots. The person playing has space in front of this table. The person playing can stand here and play. This is the level of the level of obsessive thought that I've put into it. And with that, I'm gonna exit the decoration menu. Oh, and one thing I'm gonna do, this is slightly unrelated, is I'm gonna go into my anointments. I'm gonna remove kindling, and I'm gonna add dreadnought. That's just a change that I needed to make since the last episode. Now let's go into the tavern that we have renovated, and look at this. Now I don't even need to worry about, you know how sometimes I don't remember which one's the Siralim one, which one's the Kino one. Well, now I'll know because I'll remember from what they're standing next to, right? And if you are right next to them and if you face them, they will face away. But if you're away from them, they will face in what direction you put them in by default. So yeah, you are obviously Siralim, slots, Kino, scratch cards. And I have to say, this is a good feeling. I was like, should I put some sort of a welcome mat? Not really. Maybe something on the wall on the way in. Oh, hang on. Decoration mode. There's one decoration that I remember. I think maybe it might be under banners. Or it might be under miscellaneous, because I do think I should put something on this wall. Okay, I think it's probably under miscellaneous. So what is it? This might take a while. Hang on. But I do remember a very distinctive looking one that I think would look pretty cool. Maybe it's... silver... Sleeping dumpling. If I don't find the exact one I'm looking for, I'll just throw down something that looks cool on a wall. Look, a void rune. What's that? Is that a realm thing? God, watch as we painstakingly go through page after page. What was it? I think this might be it. Oh yeah, this. I'm gonna throw this down over here. Let's imagine that the owner of the establishment, or the establishment is something whose name starts with a Z, and this is their logo. Again, I'm sure it means something else, but this is what I'm gonna treat this as. Should we put stuff on the walls? You know what? Maybe some wall lights? Is that a thing that we have? Some wall lights on either side could be could be cool. Maybe it's under miscellaneous? I mean, there's wall shield, wall swords, which I'm going to use for a different build, but not seeing any mounted lights. Let me just take a quick look. Take a quick look. If I don't see anything, we will just call it good. Actually, you know what? Hang on. Let me add, go back to lights. Some basic candlesticks. There we go. They're not on the wall, but it's close enough. I am prepared to accept this. A nice, cozy entranceway. And now let's exit and take a look at our wonderful casino and bar owned by, I don't know, maybe Zante. Zante's Casino and Bar. I might change that later on. Hang on, we're not done. We're not done. There's a few NPCs that we haven't fully fixed. Okay. So you are obviously gonna be the bartender. You guys are gonna be animator tier 1 and animator tier 2. Just a nod to the the main class that we've been playing in the series. We will also use animator tier 3, but for something else and in a very special context. Okay, so that was this entire section done. Even though I had most of it planned out, it took a while because I made some last-minute improvisations. I think it looks pretty well. So now what I'm going to do is, now I'm going to exit decoration mode. Now we're going to walk around and enjoy this lovely setting. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to do the rest of this castle. One room at a time. This room already has some stuff in it, but I'm going to be changing this as well. And I'm going to be putting the most special thing in this room. But yes, we're going to do it one at a time, but I'm not going to show the entire build now. I've shown you what the experience is, what the experience of building is like, and how fun it is, and how obsessive you can get. And I think you get the picture. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to be skipping to the fully completed versions of the rest of what I'm going to build. Right? So I will be back with you when this section is complete. Alright? See you in a bit. Alright guys, we're back. And let me unveil to you the next section that I've been working on. This is, as you can see, a bit of a military training themed area. This is where I have put the arena. So to the left of it, I've put, this is a ceremonial sword case, the silver arena trophy, the gold arena trophy. On the wall behind it, I've put the wall shields and the wall swords. And behind it is an object called the scoreboard or scorecard, something like that. Which I think is appropriate, especially because the arena is, contest-based event. It can be like, oh, this is how well people have been doing in the arena. And we can imagine that the arena is something that happens even when we're not there, This portal takes people to where the arena is, and people try their best. Here we have some people training. Before we look at them, I'll mention that this object is a statue called Warrior's Victory. It's surrounded by another wall sword and a wall shield. I think it balances out the side of the room very well. And we have chaos rugs. These are the long chaos rugs, as people walk in, and then there's the big chaos rug sort of in the center. And I think it looks cool like this. Now let's look at who we've put over here. Before we do that, let's mention that there's some archery targets, and then there are some training dummies. So obviously archery targets are going to need people with ranged weapons, and I could only find I could only find 3. I guess people with magical attacks could also use ranged weapons, but all of these have arrows in them, so I want wanted it to feel a little bit authentic. This guy is a basic archer. This guy is called Blood Shroud, and this guy is Apollo. And I put them at varying distances, I guess, depending on how comfortable they are with their own aim. I figured the god would have the best aim and stand the farthest back. The menacingly named Blood Shroud could be a little bit, not quite as far back, but a little bit forward, and the basic archer would be like his aim would, out of these three, probably be the weakest. And then we've got these training dummies obviously in front of them. I want people with the melee theme things, so I was looking for people who have weapons on their backs. One of them doesn't, that's an exception. I'll talk about him in a bit. So we've got this guy who I think is a wanderer. We've got... Okay, so one of these two, I think this one is the woodland rogue, and this is the Bushido. And then there's this guy who is described as a toy soldier, but who I know as... like, I played with toys like these. We called them Army Men, and there was even a video game series called Army Men based on the premise of these green plastic soldiers. So amazing. I kind of want to buy some more of them and relive my childhood, but for now I'll settle with putting one of them in my castle. Just going at it, with this training dummy. Who knows, maybe one day he too will be an arena champion. I'm really glad with how this room came out as well. A little bit spaced out over here, but obviously people need their space, right? You need, obviously for archery, a lot of space, and you can't really use the room in the middle for anything else. You also need space if you're practicing melee, just because sometimes you might be swinging around. You wouldn't want anyone else to be that close to you. And then, we've got this part, which is more, leading to the actual arena, and around it, these decorations. And I think they've come out really well. Alright, with this, I think it's time to skip ahead to the next room that I want to tell you about. Alright, see you in a bit. Alright, before I move on to the next zone, I should mention, because I forgot to mention, the floor tile that I used for this area is Fryden's floor tile. This is why I wanted to unlock all the decorations, or as many of them from all of the gods, even though I mainly just wanted Regalises, because I knew that there's a possibility that some of the other gods might have some things that are situationally useful, and I felt like this was the best color choice as a floor for the arena slash training area. Now, with this done, let's actually, let's exit. Oh no, this put me immediately in this area. I wanted to walk over there slowly to kind of give it let's pretend I didn't do that. I could cut it out of the video, but you know what, I'm lazy. Let's pretend that I walked out from here, up here, and oh, look at this! Look at how different this looks, and there's stuff in here that wasn't here before. So let me talk about this. First of all, let me talk about the decorations that were already here before. These are giant pandemonium statues. I flipped one of them just because in some cases I do like symmetry. These candles are, I believe... If you're not sure of what something is, you can always interact with it in the decoration menu. These are Generos's candlesticks. Another instance of something from one of the other gods coming in useful. And in front of it is the altar of the old gods, which I thought is appropriate to have in front of the reliquary. And this banner is called Red's Memory. I just thought it looked cool. And this one I actually haven't flipped, because I felt like by not flipping it, it makes it harder to see that these are actually the same. If they were flipped, you would instantly notice the symmetry, and I think having them unflipped makes it feel a bit more natural. And then of course we have the reliquary with the relics for all the gods. Oh yeah, and I should mention the floor. I changed the floor to obsidian, much darker, and it really brings out the contrast, especially with the glowing floor sigils. Makes it really pop. And as you can see in front of it, I've placed the Goblet of Trials. Now the reason I like this choice is because, you know, the Goblet of Trials is a source of resources for us, but mainly, oh my god, excuse me, this cough is really, my throat, it's just so dry in here, and I'm just not, I'm not used to talking to begin with. Like, even if I didn't have a cough, my throat would give up on me eventually. But when I have even a slight cough, then talking is just not an easy thing to do. But you know what? I'm gonna power through it anyway. So what I was gonna say was, mainly I only see the Goblet of Trials as a source of piety. So I was like, let's extrapolate that concept. Be like, okay, we only care about piety, but it does give you other forms of loot as well. So what I'm imagining is, every time it fills up with all kinds of treasure, but I only care about one specific game currency. So I'm imagining everything else kind of just getting dumped out on the floor in front of it. And the fact that it's uncentered and makes it feel a bit messy really adds to that feeling. So yeah. Imagine every time we're collecting the Goblet of Trials, we're just picking out a few things that we like. Everything else, we cannot even be bothered to pick it up off the floor. If other people want it, it's there for them to take it. So yeah, that's this room. Now next, before I do my final and favorite room, there are a couple smaller areas I want to do. First of all, I am not fully happy with how this area looks. I feel like I could do a lot better. So next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fix up this area and make it look a bit different. Alright, I'll see you when I've done something with this. Right, see you in a bit. Alright, it's finally done, and I think you're gonna like what I did with this place. As you can see, it looks a lot more different, a lot more interesting. I started out, so in the first, like, when we started this episode, these guilds were all perfectly in line with each other in kind of a rectangular shape almost, which wasn't very interesting. So I moved the Nature Guild and the Sorcery Guild a little bit down and a little bit inwards. That's the first thing I did. Then I put pillars all around them. One of the decorations you unlock with each of the guilds is their special pillar. This is the Nature Pillar, Life Pillar, Sorcery, Chaos, and Death. So I put the pillars around all of them in this way. I think it makes... it almost feels like it's part of the building graphic when you put it like that, but no, the guild is separate and the pillars are... the columns, rather, are separate. But I just think it looks perfect this way. And also I added altars. Each of the well, they're under the altar section, but they're called tributes. So I put these for each of the guilds in roughly the same order that you see them in. Hang on, let me actually move the death one slightly, and I think that's gonna look a little bit better. And I'll move this slightly back. There we go. I like how that looks. So these are kind of in the same arrangement as the guilds are, and in the center of it all we have both of these are statues. So this one is called Wyatt's Globe. This one is Alsham's Habia? This might be a word in Arabic, but if it was written in Arabic, I'd actually be able to pronounce it, assuming that is what it is. But I'm trying to figure out from the English pronunciation how, and I'm struggling. So I'm just gonna. It's this one. Um, yeah. So I thought the sun right next to the rotating world looked really really cool, and I put 3 banners. In the center is this is called the banner of, it's just called Siralim. It's the banner of Siralim. It goes in the center. To the left, excuse me. To the left, I've got this banner which says United Rhodia, which I really like because all of the guilds are in the same zone. We have different philosophies, but we're all working together for a common cause. And I think it's a great message. And this is the spring banner, but I like it because it's got all the excuse me, it's got all the different colors just coming together. I didn't put a special floor tiling because I do like the default floor, and I wanted all of these central areas in the castle to have the same floor. Okay, so that's that done. Like I really like how this looks, and oh god, it like it really is breaking my heart that I'm gonna have to take a break from this game for at least a month. You know what? I might, when I'm done, I might just boot up the game every once in a while and then just walk around the castle without doing anything. Just because I think it would be a shame to just do all this and then not even look at it. Okay. So there's one more room that we have to do. It's going to be my favorite room to do, but before we do it, I want to fix up this section, right? Because we moved some things out of here. We moved the arena out. We moved the Goblet of Trials. We got this other stuff. I want to make this section look a little bit more interesting. So I have vague ideas about what I want to do with it. I'll figure out how I want to accomplish that, and I'll be back once once I've got that figured out. Alright, see you in a bit. Okay, this took a surprisingly long time, even though I basically knew what I wanted to do, but I just spent so much time fiddling. So what I did was you know what, let me go into decoration mode so that I can tell you what all these things are. I gave this dude, I've forgotten his name, hang on. Who are you? Everett, okay. Jeez, what a wonderful employer I am. I gave Everett his own little office. I gave him Ariamaki's table and Ariamaki's chair next to him, and the breakable object from Land of Breath and Balance, I think. Let me go back into decoration mode and see what is this. Yeah, breakable from Land of Breath and Balance. Just a stack of papers that's getting occasionally blown. Maybe this levitating giant book is generating a bit of a breeze. I also fleshed out this area for our fusion lab and the person running it. So I gave him 4080s table and chair, very futuristic looking. I love how it blends in. On the back, this object is called a conspiracy board, but you can imagine that, you know, this is instead filled with details of various experiments he wants to run, and of course, what lab would be complete without you know, you don't have time to cook, so obviously you're gonna be ordering pizza. And I put this thing, the tome of credits, over here just because, I don't know, maybe either of these two might want to consult it for whatever reason, so it's within reach of both of them. And of course the other utility items, the candle of summoning and the crusher. What's this called? The refinery. Okay, yeah, this is over here, and overall I'm happy with that. And do I want to put something in the background? You know what? Let's just throw something. Throw a quick maybe a painting. You know, let's go for yeah. Let's do a painting because I unlocked a ton of paintings. And maybe let's look for a painting that has a bunch of monsters in it. And we'll just put it in the center and we'll call it good. That's a pretty good one. Celebration. Oh, mimic. Lovely. 9 pages of this. A nice dog. Just that looks like Jabba the Hutt a little bit. Just looking for a painting that has like several monsters on it. And then mirror of reflection. I don't know if that fits though. This is an animated painting. Never tell me the odds. Nice. Party like a god. Wait, what was that? That's a Halloween themed one. You know what? Pillars of Creation is a really... like it's a real image. You can look it up. But... I don't know. Actually, no. Pillars of Creation would be good for. Let's put it in the background here. It's a kind of science-themed image. There, that fleshes that out a little bit more. And what can we put? Where? Hang on. The paintings aren't visible. I've already used that somewhere else. Maybe there isn't going to be a painting that gives me exactly what I want. So maybe we'll have to settle for something that's just pleasing to look at and... it's another animated painting. The eyes are flashing. This could be another good one to put in the lab area. But I think Pillars of Creation is good. We'll just put Path of the Damned, maybe. You know, let's put the Never Tell Me the Odds painting. And to the left and right, should we put more paintings? Let's put some plants. Let's put a couple of different plants. Because I haven't really done much with plants. I feel like there's so many pages of plants, though. And like some of these are going to be from different gods. Some of these are just going to be from the realms. Some of these are... that's, I'm sure, Ariomaki. Let's put, you know, battlefield memories on this side, and you know what? How about some trees? Yeah, some of the taller plants. Well, let's remove it. Add another. Yeah, how about this? 2 different looking plants. There we go. And now this area looks a bit less fleshed out, a bit more fleshed out. Oh, except I boxed myself in. That's that was kind of funny. There we go. Now we should be fine. Yeah, now we're out here. Now we can't go back there, but we never needed to go back there. All we ever needed was access to this area. Right. Oh, and I moved the portal here, just because, and I moved the spawn point right here, so it's right by it, and helps us get to it closer if we need to. Alright, I think that's about done with everything else other than that one room. Let's just take a look at these other things. I'm happy with this guy. I'll leave him be. Even though he's not really doing anything. This guy is doing something. Nethermancer Ned. A similar color scheme as this guy. More minimalist. He's just got some banners behind him. And a rug. And some torches. Kind of marking out the boundary of his area, so you can imagine it as as about this big, and the torches mark out the boundary for this area. Even though there aren't walls, I think this works out pretty well. And then the other room that we haven't seen is for a while is my bedroom. This is where it does have one functional object in it. This is where I would go if I wanted to change my specialization or transmogrify my own appearance, or to rename myself, to rename a creature, creatures can equip accessories as well. We look at those to reset my perks and all kinds of fun things, which I haven't had to do in a while, but which we are going to have to do soon. The only thing left is this room. And I'm going to do this room, and I will be back when that is done. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, we're done, but first I should mention I just made a minor change to this area. I just moved these rugs forward so that they extend all the way to where the floor tile changes. I think it looks a little bit better that way. And I did a similar thing in the area that you are about to see. And look at this. There's nothing functional in this area, but it was my favorite thing to do by far. I have turned this into a... at first I thought I was just gonna do like a shrine to Regalis. Then I was like, no, let's actually invite her. Let's give her an entire section of the castle in which she can do whatever she wants. And she's built basically a temple to herself, and also a place where you can have large ceremonies if you want. So now I'll walk you through what the decoration pieces are. These tables and chairs are just Regalis's tables and chairs that you unlock from buying them at her god shop. This this torch I think you also unlock from a god shop. I'm not sure about some of these other things. So this statue, it's called Spider Queen. And this statue, which obviously fits a similar aesthetic as some of these other things, it's called Poison Fountain. These statues holding these candles, they are called Regalis's Inner Beauty. And that's her version of, a light-emitting object. And this here is called the Tribute to Regalis. This is an altar. Behind her, I've put Regalis's throne and the realm altar of Regalis, which I don't think you can interact with. It'd be hilarious if you could. But yeah, it's just for decorative purposes only. And the throne is if Regalis wants to take on a human form and sit down. If she wants to stay as a spider, that's up to her. You can see her in both her forms as the Spider Queen and in human form. And one other interesting. Oh, well, I mean, I should also mention the other people and creatures I've scattered about. These are just. Oh. It says that they're Axer apocalypses because that's what they spawn as by default, but the actual thing that they look like, they are different creatures from the might might race class. You know, mites are arachnids, so it was appropriate. What I'll do is off screen I will change a lot of these things so that if I interact with these NPCs, number one, they have an appropriate name, and number two, they say something appropriate as well. So I'll have to try and approximate what a giant spider's sound would be. And speaking of giant spiders, that's what this spider is saying as well. This spider is not a creature. This is an NPC that you find from the same list that we found, like Afro Man and you know, animators 2 and 3. But except some of them are creatures and like not game monsters, but just other kinds of, like you can find dogs and cats in there as well. And here we have the animator version 3, Mark 3, the final skin you unlock for outfit that you unlock for the animator. He is in front of the altar paying his respects, waiting to go, and I guess chatting with each other while they're waiting are the Siralim Jester and the Holy Knight. I was like, okay, this guy, you know, Regalis might have the stereotype or the aesthetic that, oh, she's evil, she's a dark goddess, but you know, we welcome all sorts. So here, and you know, people are curious about other things. So here is a you know, maybe from some paladin order of some kind. He just wants to learn more about what Regalis has to offer, and Regalis herself is the only NPC right now that I've given. Well, first of all, I've made sure that she has her proper name and that I've given custom dialogue to. So if we interact with her, this is what she has to say. You can see it's got her name correct. Oh, I fucked up. And I fucked up for a very specific reason. Well, first of all, you might not have noticed, but I misspelled the word pleased. It's missing an A. It's supposed to say, you have served me well, Darius. The Spider Queen is pleased. Right now it says blessed. Let's fix that, and you'll see why it's difficult to fix. Go to decoration mode. And if I go to change its dialogue, you can see that the dialogue is going off the screen. So EASED period. So SED period. 4 backspaces are gonna have to happen. Let's confirm it and let's check what her dialogue is now. Oh. I see I went too far. So now we're just gonna have to spell the word least. And put a period at the end. It gives you a bit of a beep, as in like a feedback to let you know you've pressed something. But some of them are kind of getting lost amid the background music, so I think that's why I made a couple of mistakes. There we go. Now let's leave. Exit decoration mode. There we go. Let me make sure there aren't any other typos. And there we go. I wanted this. This is sort of my own grand tribute to Regalis. And if you're wondering why I felt the need to do this, let me show you a little something. Oh, it doesn't show this. Is there a list where Gate of the Gods? Is there like a big list where it shows us what our here we go, God's favor. There we go. This shows us what favor rank we have with all the gods. As you can see, with most of them, the highest is 45, and that's with Reclusa. The others are 42, 43, 44. Look at Regalis. Rank 90. More than double, and here's the thing. With each extra favor rank you get, the next one is more expensive. So in fact, it's even more than double what the next highest god is. We've spent so much time in her realm because it's a great realm to get dumplings. We were there for when we were farming dumplings, but then it's also a good realm to get mimics. It's a good realm to get treasure golems. It's a good realm to get like treasure in general. It's got great realm-based debuffs to put on your enemies and buffs to put on yourselves, right? Because we can raise our maximum health, which is very important for it. But it's just been such a good, and we've had so many fond memories in that realm. And she and I have had such a long and vibrant partnership that I thought, why not continue that into our own castle and give her a bit of space. I know the rest of this looks empty, right? There's nobody at these tables. That's deliberate. I want to give the impression that it's for only when there's a major ceremony going on will these tables be used, and the rest of the time they're going to be empty. So right now, it's just people individually coming in to pay their respects. So yeah, that's I think the last major change I wanted to make. So let's start at the bottom and let's go around. Even though this wasn't the first change that I made, it's still one that I enjoy looking at. I changed up the guilds. I just gotta make sure that I remember you cannot walk through the pillars. That's probably gonna take some getting used to. The nice banners symbolizing our united struggle. All of these different guilds with their altars, and at the center, the globe and the sun next to it. I think that looks pretty good. To its left, we have the arena that I put together with the actual arena in it. I guess not the arena, but the training area with a few people honing their skills at these training dummies and archery targets. And you know what? Let me check something. What happens if I flip this horizontally? Will it like clip? Nah, it doesn't. It doesn't look good because they've got to kind of be on. It would be like it was at some completely different angle if it was. If all of the others look like that and this look like this, so they've kind of all got to look like that. You know, don't even worry about like why mess with something that's already fine. Just let it go, Ali. Just let it go. I was like, there isn't any other version of the archery target. They all look the same. Let it go, Ali. You it looks fine. It looks fine, and the important part, like the cool looking part, is the decorations we put behind here. Right, the trophies that we actually unlocked from getting a high rank at the arena, and you know, some shields and swords in the background. A big sword, who knows whose sword that is. Maybe one day I'll come up with some, you know, fan fiction lore behind it. You know, the actual arena itself. This cool looking statue. Let's move up here. I've changed up this area, which is where our reliquary is. These decorations were here from before, but I added the Goblet of Trials. You know what? Let me exit the decoration mode because I want to actually walk around and show you that this is the Goblet of Trials, which is a functional object. Below it, is a pile of our various treasures that the goblet has given us. To the right, there's this guy. One of these days, I'll give him a name. There's a this isn't actually a creature. This is a decoration. This is a sleeping manticore. This is a some sort of a thing. I don't even know what that is. Then there are these bookshelves. Then we have the gate of the gods with these funky-looking statues around it. And then there's Nether Mancer Ned with a, I think, sleeping hellhound in front of it. Nether Mancer Ned with a similar color scheme to what this guy has going on. And then let's take a look at the tavern. This is the first thing that we did, and this is the thing that's in the thumbnail, because I wanted to do a before and after, and the only thing that we had a before version of, the only thing of note, was the Riddle Dwarves in their sad little corner. Now they've got a proper gambling establishment in this corner. The rest of it is a pretty festive bar restaurant establishment. You got servers going back and forth. You've got various tables. This one's the most rowdy, the most boisterous. I hope this guy is gonna pay for the damage he's caused to the table with his axe that he's wedged into it. The other people, the werewolf enjoying his cockatrice meal, the assassin with his tea. I just think overall it's got a nice vibe. Ooh. And this is a sword slashed through this symbol that looks like a Z. Who knows what the Z stands for? Definitely not Zonte. This doesn't look like an establishment that Zonte would run. But maybe we'll come up with some lore for it later on. Before we go to Regalis, let's look at what else we did. We put some a painting and some plants in the background over here. And we changed up this spot, gave Everett his own little office, gave this guy his own futuristic looking table and chair. He's got some notes in the background. He's got a painting here, and the rest of the other objects do feel like they fit in with the surroundings as well. Then if we go up, these don't really need to be changed. There's not enough room to do anything interesting with them. If I think of something interesting to do with them, I might, but it looks fine for now. And then there's my room, which I did ages ago, and I still think it looks great. I don't think I could improve upon this. Again, it's a small space, but I like what I've done with it. There's a sleeping Volpertinger. There's that, it almost makes it feel like we're in a starship of some kind. That painting in the background, an animated painting of outer space, the mirror, this wardrobe, which is a functional object. And then there's this plushie that we won as a reward for ascending the animator as a specialty. Yeah, I'm really liking how this came out. Just in case the game crashes, I don't want to have to do all of this again. I'm just gonna save and make sure. Oh, game, are you okay? Okay. I think maybe the number of objects we've added is causing the game to take a little bit longer to save when we're inside, possibly. But if it takes a bit longer, I don't mind. It's worth it for making this a more immersive environment and just an overall cooler place to be in. Just as a reminder, for 3 of these 4 places, we will have reason to actually go to them. We've been coming down here pretty regularly to interact with the guilds. We will have to continue doing that. we are gonna have to come here if we want to go to the arena. We are gonna have to come here if we want to do Riddle Dwarf gambling. We are gonna have to come here to do anything related with the reliquary or the goblet. And even though we are not ever going to be required to come into this place, we will nonetheless come here from time to time to pay our own respects to Regalis. And of course, because we own the castle, we can just skip the line and just, just walk straight up to her and have a bit of a chat. It's good. It's good to be the king. And I think that just about covers it. So yeah, this was episode 200. I'm really glad I got this done because I've wanted for a long time to do something aesthetically interesting with this castle, especially with all this space we have. I will say that this isn't the final version. You might notice that this part is entirely empty. So at some point I'm gonna have to figure out what I want to do with this area. But that is something that we can decide later on, and maybe we'll have an episode devoted to it. Maybe I'll just do it off screen and then unveil it randomly in one episode. That's something that we'll decide in the future. For now, let's just congratulate ourselves for a job well done. And I guess now it's just time for me to make a few closing remarks. It's that so much love and effort went into making this game, and some of it comes across when you just play it normally, when you go through realms, when you level up, the builds, the theory crafting, the Gate of the Gods, the arena even, which I've come to love, even though I was horrible at it early on. Playing the game in all of the quote-unquote normal ways, you see a lot of it, but a lot of it is in the entirely optional things. Like, you would never have to do any of this, but all of these decoration, all these aesthetic objects are there, and you can use them to make your own game feel so much more immersive to be in. Like, sometimes when we play these long RPGs, we can see them as almost an extended math problem. Like, oh, well, what do I need to do to get all the achievements? Let's just do that, and then that's the end of it. But this game, it gives you the tools to make your own experience, like, whatever you want to make it. You could make something completely absurd. Like I mentioned, right? There are some serious things. There are also some like silly things, like this army man, like that alien and that android. You could make some completely ridiculous changes to your realm, and that would be cool too. You can make it whatever you want. If you're playing this game, I do highly recommend that you at least once spend a bit of time just fiddling around and changing the way your castle looks. Even the small changes that I'd made earlier, right? Bringing this guy in, or like that guy was already there, but putting that stuff around him, bringing this optional guy in, making these decorations in the background here, like those things by themselves just made me feel so much more like I was in an actual fantasy medieval castle. And I mean, it's not for everybody. Some people genuinely don't care at all about aesthetics. All they want is the functional parts of the game. And if that's you, then that's okay too. That's totally valid. But a lot of people, I think, like, their experience of playing the game would be drastically different if they just maybe spent a little bit of time putting these aesthetic elements into it. because it really makes the game come alive in a way that it hadn't not up until this point. I was waiting until we had most of the decorations on. Okay, that's one thing you might have to wait for, because we had to get pretty high with the gods to unlock their decorations. But once you do that, then definitely do a bit of a redecoration. You can do little bits of it at a time. You don't have to do the entire thing in one day like I did. But I wanted to do the whole thing just because now it's going to be such a drastic change from what it used to be. But yeah, that's my little spiel. The other thing is, it gives you a chance to experience some of these other little artistic things that are put into the game. Like, we see the skins that are given to us because they're shown to us when we unlock them. But what you don't see is, okay, some of them you have to unlock. Maybe you'll see them in the menu when you're unlocking them from the gods, right? Some of these decorations. But a lot of them are just in the game by default. And you'll never see them unless you actually go into it and you look through them. And you know, some of them are really cool looking. And even if you don't use them, you can at least appreciate the fact that, you know, someone designed this and that it looked cool. Alright, that is my little spiel about why you should take the time to decorate your castle, or at the very least, to at least appreciate the artwork on the decorations. You know, maybe just scroll through those lists a couple times once you've unlocked most of them. And I still have some to unlock, I'm pretty sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until we have them all unlocked, every single one of them, before I decide what I want to do with this area. That's going to be my final finishing touches for this castle. But yes, with that, I think it's going to be all for this episode. Like I said, a different one, and a bit of a bittersweet one for me, because I am going to have to take another break for a couple months. So I'm not going to be recording. But what I think I will be doing is, every once in a while, when I have the time, I'll come into the game and I'll take a couple of these NPCs, I'll give them proper names and proper flavor dialogue. I've got a lot of them, so it's going to take a long time, but maybe I can just do like one every day. Or like one every couple of days. It'll give me an excuse to come into the game and look at, you know, all of these changes that we've made. I'm never gonna get tired of looking at them. And then by the end of it, maybe I'll be close to the point where I can actually play and record the game again. So that's what I'll do, and it'll make me feel less distant from the game, as opposed to the last long break that I took, in which I genuinely just didn't open up the game at all for several months. Right? I think that is going to be my plan. But hopefully for you, you won't even notice that I've taken a break, because I record these episodes in advance. So hopefully for you, it's just going to be like, oh, one episode, next episode, the next day, and the thing just continues like clockwork. But that, we will see if I manage to do it like that. But yes, with that, I think that is going to be all for this episode. I do hope you enjoyed it. I do hope you will join me in the next episode as well, which, again, is going to be a long time in the future for me, but hopefully just another day away for you. And again, thank you so much for watching, and until the next time, take care.